All right, what's up, you guys? Welcome to another episode of Rocco Bernardo Coaching, where we talk all things fitness, nutrition, and weight loss. This is going to be my highly asked for video about my grocery haul. So what does a normal grocery shopping trip look like? What foods do I eat? How often do I eat them? And why do I eat them? In this video, I'm also going to break down 3 guidelines, not rules, guidelines that I typically follow to stay healthy that I have broken in this video, and I'm going to talk about why I broke them and why it's okay. Please watch the very end of this video so that you can get all of the information. It's going to be very information dense, and I'm going to just give you as much applicable information as I can so that if you're watching this, you are a normal busy person who works 1 to 2 jobs and you don't have much free time. This is the video for you if you want to be healthy. So up first, I have eggs, which are an awesome way to start your day. I have them almost every day for breakfast. Between the protein, the fats, and the vitamins that are in the egg, it just sets your tone for a nutritious and healthy day, and it's very, very filling. I eat 4 of them, again, probably 6 mornings a week, and I'm full at the end of that meal. It definitely lasts me to lunch. I am bulking, which is why I do 4 whole eggs. When I was cutting, I did 2 eggs that were complete and 2 egg whites. So either way, regardless of your goals and your calorie allowance, you should try to work eggs into your diet. I also went with these grape tomatoes because they work really well in my omelet. I put nutritional yeast in my omelet, and it's a very dry powder, but it's full of vitamin B. So it's an awesome way to boost immunity and energy throughout the day. But these tomatoes help balance it and make it much less dry. The other thing is I had to buy salt and pepper. And for me personally, I like the ones that you can grind fresh as you go. And I like the pink salt. I read somewhere that it possibly has more minerals than other types of salt. Here's another pointer for you. I have no idea if that's true or not. Some things just aren't worth the time to research. If I was going to be having salt anyway, I like the pink one better. There are possible added minerals, maybe, maybe not. But either way, I eat it because it's freaking pink. So even if it's not extra minerals, it's still just salt. It's okay. I'm still not making any changes. So not everything is worth investing the time into Googling. So up next, I have 3 different types of fruit. And that number is very important because I like to have fruit with every meal for a couple of reasons. 1, it diversifies the amount of vitamins and minerals that I'm getting into my system throughout the day. And 2, there are 2 different carb sources. So there is glucose, which is non-fruit things, and then fructose, which is fruit. It comes from fruit. And so both of those pathways open up doors in the cell that allow things to enter, specifically glucose and fructose, but they bring other things with them like protein. So for me, I try to have a glucose carb and a fructose carb with every meal to maximize the openings in each of my cells so that way I can bring as much protein in as possible. It is technically biohacking. It is technically not important. I doubt that there is much significance overall. If you train hard and you eat well, you're going to get really good results. But this is something I've been doing since even when I was losing weight to try to maximize my muscle building potential. So different types of vitamins and minerals, and opens the fructose pathway in our cells. Now, I switch back and forth between which fruits I have, partially what's in season, and really just the lowest prep things. So orange juice I have every morning because it's super easy. Bananas are super easy to grab and go. And grapes, you can wash all of these at once, and they keep much longer than other berries do. And so these are the 3 go-tos that I have right now, but I alternate between fruits all the time. Up next, I have this massive thing of instant oatmeal. And if you are about to click off this video because you've heard that oatmeal is bad for you, it's not true, okay? Layne Norton, one of the highly respected scientists and bodybuilder, powerlifter type personas who's been doing this for a very long time, has talked repeatedly about oatmeal and how people break down the chemical component, and there's a whole conspiracy theory that Quaker wanted to, make a bunch of money, so they created the food pyramid. Ignore all that. I don't care about any of that. What we have seen, what Layne Norton has explained in videos that I've watched, is that the benefits of eating oatmeal outweigh any possible negative effects. Oatmeal is a healthy carb source. It is a great way to start your day. And I bought this instant stuff because, again, I'm very, very busy. I go to the gym, start my day at the gym, and then I come home and eat breakfast, and then I dive into work because I create videos like this for you guys. And so for me, the less time I can spend cooking breakfast, the more time I can spend doing things that I need to get done. And so not only do these taste better than really any version of oatmeal that I make for myself, but it also is super quick and easy. So highly recommend this, and ignore all of the bullcrap on the internet where people are trying to scare you and tell you that the world is a conspiracy. I'm not anti-conspiracy theory in general, but oatmeal is a good food you can incorporate into your diet and get good results. For proof, I will show you what I looked like a year ago and what I look like now. And if you look at those two pictures, you can see that I've clearly built muscle. I've clearly done good things to my body composition. I'm much stronger in the gym. And so oatmeal is clearly not harming me, even if it is bad. It's not bad. All right, for meat, for lunch, almost every day, I do this chicken right here. Yes, this exact chicken, because this right here is 4 servings, 110 calories each, 19 grams of protein, which means I split it right down the middle and I eat it over 2 meals, 2 lunches. So for 220 calories, I am getting 38 grams of protein in my lunch, and all I have to do is throw this in the microwave. My favorite way to do that lately has been 1 part ranch to 1 part hot sauce. So I'll throw the whole bag in a container with 50 grams of ranch and 50 grams of hot sauce, mix it up. The hot sauce is irrelevant in terms of calories. And for an extra 100 calories, I've made a delicious chicken lunch that takes, 3 minutes microwave time and prep time combined. So this has been the best find I've found. I made a whole meal prep video that you could definitely check out, but I have moved away from cooking chicken and I just do this prepackaged stuff. Now, ground beef, normally I do the grass-fed ground beef, but again, don't sweat the small stuff. Aldi was out of it. I bought regular ground beef. I'm going to be fine. I do the 93%, 7% fat. I do not strain it. So if you have too much fat in your diet, or if you're worried about heart stuff, you can strain the fat, get rid of it. For me personally, I like having a little bit of saturated fat. It's not bad for you. In moderation, it's going to be fine. So for me, I do this, and I'll cut this into 2, and I'll have this as 2 dinners. This is a little bit over a pound, which is kind of nice because I am bulking. But the grass-fed packs I normally buy are just 1 pound. But like I said, don't sweat the small stuff. If they don't have your great, perfect grass-fed beef, just get the other stuff. Also, this is the nicest piece of salmon I have ever purchased. Now, normally I buy little things of salmon and I cut them in half, and then I get 2 dinners out of those. So any night that I'm not eating beef, I'm eating salmon. However, I found this beauty, perfectly nice and symmetrical all the way across, so it'll cook evenly. And I'm going to chop this up. I might cook some and have them frozen cooked. I might cut them up and freeze them and then cook them right before I want to eat them. Salmon works really well either way, but I have salmon twice a week for the omega-3 fatty acids, really good for your heart, and also just absolutely delicious. Throw some salt and pepper on this and that beef, and you have a great tasting meal. Now, if you're sitting there thinking, Rocco, where are the vegetables? All you've shown us so far is tomatoes. That's true. For lunch, I usually do either broccoli or green beans. I pick those up pretty much every time I'm at the grocery store. Each bag will last me 3 servings. It's roughly 100 grams per serving. And so each one will last me 3 meals. It's the perfect amount of fiber and vitamins and minerals where I'm not causing myself gastric distress and just cramping from the fiber, but I still get vitamins and minerals and get some greens into my diet. I do that with lunch, and then I don't have to eat vegetables with dinner, which is just the way that I prefer to do things. One of my favorite carb sources is going to be this tortellini because it's also packed with protein. The chicken and the 3 cheese are the exact same macros, which makes it super easy to track. And I'll throw this with either Alfredo or half a jar of marinara, and just a delicious meal. This I'll do in either 2 or 3 servings, just depending on how much I eat throughout the rest of the day. I cook it in bulk and I throw it in a container and I just weigh it out as I go. But this tortellini is awesome. my random pick from this grocery shopping trip is this tomato mozzarella mac and cheese. Very excited for it. 360 calories for half of it and 720 for the whole thing. Again, I am bulking right now. My calorie goal is over 3,300 calories per day and 200 grams of protein. So I'm going to enjoy the heck out of this one night for dinner with a bunch of beef thrown in, and it's going to be delicious, I hope. This is a random find. I don't normally buy it, but I did pick it up this time. Now, if you saw my picture on Instagram where I posted my cart and asked if you guys wanted to see this video, I have Cocoa Pebbles in there. No, I do not have a son or daughter. I simply love Cocoa Pebbles. I wasn't allowed to eat them when I was a kid, but when I was in college, I would get a cup and I would fill it up with milk and I would just pour and I would go through an entire box of Cocoa Pebbles, and that milk was the chocolatiest thing that's ever been created by the end of that box, and it was delicious. So for me, instead of eating an entire box, even though I am bulking, I will eat 2 servings at a time. I usually will just have a big cereal meal, either for breakfast as a treat one day or as dessert and with dinner, where I do 2 servings of a protein cereal in milk, and then without draining the milk, I then throw in 2 servings of Cocoa Pebbles. It's such a really good way to incorporate a food that I love into a healthy diet. And I don't do it often. My go-to at the end of the night is actually ice cream. Chocolate chip cookie dough is one of my favorites. But either way, looking at these, I view them as desserts, both of them. So my goal for dessert when I was cutting was to stay around 150 to 300 calories of dessert per day. That left me usually enough to hit all of my other goals without a problem. So I did Halo Top ice cream almost every night, and that was pretty much it. But now that I'm bulking, my goal is to stay somewhere between 400 and 600 because those extra calories do help me hit my calorie goals, but I want to be healthy. So having more than 600 calories of dessert in one day, especially in one sitting, I don't like to do that. But I do love these. These are 2 of my favorite foods, and I incorporate them into my diet, and I have them almost every day, 1 or 2 of them. So this is just to show you that you can have your diet and enjoy yourself, eat the foods you love, live the life that you love, incorporate things, count your calories, and you'll accomplish your goals. Now, this right here is a frozen pizza. My goal for Friday nights, if I'm either going somewhere that I'm super comfortable, like a friend's house I've known for a long time, or if I'm staying in and either playing video games online with my friends or having people over, I try to have a frozen pizza, the entire thing. I find one that's roughly 1,000 calories. I cook it in the oven and I cut it up and I put the whole thing on my plate and I eat it. And the reason I do that is 1, because I love it. 2, because for me, that was something I did consistently when I was fat. It's part of how I got fat. I worked at restaurants, Italian or otherwise, that had incredible pizza. And I would eat the whole thing. And it was well over 1,000 calories. And I lost a lot of weight just by quitting and leaving that environment. But it's just something that I genuinely enjoy doing. And it might seem silly to you that I enjoy eating a whole pizza, but I do. And so I found a way to occasionally work it into my diet. And I couldn't do this while I was cutting because it is essentially a day's calories. So I just would have sacrificed my protein goal for the day. But this is something I love to do. And now that I'm bulking, and even if I go to a maintenance phase, I'll try to do this for as long as I can because I genuinely enjoy it. It's one of my favorite foods and one of my favorite weekly routines that I get to just enjoy a fat guy activity without being fat. All right, Quest protein chips. This is one of my favorite snacks, favorite alternative protein sources. So it's not a protein powder, it's a bag of chips. And each one has roughly 20 grams of protein. They taste great. These are actually 2 of my favorite flavors combined in one box. I got this from Sam's Club. Great find if you go there and have a membership there. But highly recommend these. I was super shocked to find them because I don't normally shop at Sam's Club. But these are really good for throwing in lunches and taking with me on the go, or throwing in my bag to have as a snack when I'm on the go. Because I have a lot of days when I don't get to stop at home. Even though most of the time that I'm working from home now, I still spend a lot of time on the road. All right, if you've been following my content, YouTube or Instagram for any amount of time, you'll see that I am a huge, huge advocate for 0 calorie pop, 0 sugar pop. And the reason for that is because if I can consume a drinkable beverage, it's not going to fill me up, it's not going to provide any value other than calories, empty calories, or I can have a 0 calorie, 0 sugar option that's going to be the same experience for less cost, especially when trying to lose weight. But even now on a 3,300 calorie bulk, I'm picking the 0 calorie one. I don't want empty calories. As you can see, with the exception of my dessert, every calorie that I eat it has a purpose. It's either a carb source to help give me energy. Usually those come with nutrients, vitamins, and minerals as well. Fats to help me create hormones and regulate my body functions, or protein for muscle building and everything else that comes with protein, right? So for me, I'm going to grab the 0 calorie pop every time. I have almost no exceptions to my empty calorie rule. I almost never sacrifice calories. I almost never spend calories on something that has a 0 sugar option. I almost never spend calories on drinks unless it's juice, because those come with vitamins and minerals. Now, I hope you're ready, because I'm going to start breaking my own rules. So I've talked about alcohol in a couple of videos, and my take on it is it's not good for you. It's really not. We know that. There's generally no benefit to taking it. And if there is, the risks probably outweigh the cost. However, I did drink alcohol multiple times a week while I was cutting weight, because it was a part of my life before that. I was super active, super social the entire time, and I didn't want to give that up. So one of the switches I made was, instead of drinking craft beer that's heavy in calories, heavy in alcohol, I switched to a 100-calorie seltzer. My favorite is Truly Lemonades. I have had multiple people tell me that their favorite seltzer is better. I promise you they're wrong. But on this grocery shopping trip, I picked up a thing of seltzers because I have a party to go to this weekend, and I want to bring alcohol because there's a bunch of us that are going to be over 21, all of which enjoy drinking. So the goal is to enjoy myself, have a good time, without spending a bunch of calories on drinks, right? I can have a 300-calorie beer or a 100-calorie seltzer. I'm a big fan of these. These are actually the off-brand. They taste great unless you compare them directly to a Truly Lemonade. So if you drink them both at the same time, you'll be disappointed. But otherwise, these are a great replacement. They're cheaper, and they're only 100 calories each. So I don't drink that often now that I'm bulking. My goal, everything I do, is very, very geared towards building as much muscle as possible, and alcohol can inhibit that process. So I generally try to avoid alcohol unless it's in social settings. Even though that wasn't a rule I followed when I was losing weight, it's a rule I started to follow last summer just because I care about my results. I feel like you have to work a lot harder to build muscle than you do just to lose fat. Now, again, if you've been following my content, you see that I'm a big fan of diet guidelines and not diet rules. One of the guidelines I have for myself is I don't generally ingest food colorings. I don't. I try to stay away from it. They're not the best for you. However, I will also point out Mike Israetel, Dr. Mike, as a lot of people call him. His new content is family friendly. His old stuff, not so much. So be careful what you're clicking around on. The family friendly stuff is relatively newer. But I watched a video where he was explaining food dyes. He's like, the FDA isn't poisoning us. It's not, right? There are studies and experiments, and there can be health effects in certain amounts of doses. It's probably not something we really have to worry about. Here's what I'll say. Regardless of how you feel about that, I don't care, right? I'm not here to debate that with you. You get to enjoy your foods. I generally try to avoid food dyes. These Gatorades were on sale, and they are great because I'm working out every day and I have fire school. So for me, I've got a lot of highly physical activity throughout the day, that having a second source of mineralized drink is essentially what this is, electrolyte drink. And having a second source that's easy to carry with me, doesn't require mixing, is great. So I bought these. I broke my own rule, and I'm going to be okay, right? Nothing that the FDA is feeding us is really going to hurt us in small enough doses. And so a couple of Gatorades, I mean, if it kills me, it kills me, right? But you can't stress about everything. So for me, that's a general guideline that I follow. And this week, I'm not following that. But the reason I love guidelines over rules is because if you break a rule, you automatically failed. And it's an X. And mentally, that's really, really bad for you. And you can only take so many X's before you give up on your attempt. But if you have guidelines, they're flexible. Breaking a guideline It's emotionally a different experience. So if you're trying to lose weight and you eat a piece of cake and you had a rule against cake, you just lost. You just failed your diet for the day. But if you have a guideline that you eat less cake, then eating cake is okay as long as you stay within the rest of the parameters that you've set. So guidelines are way better than rules, and it allows me to live my life. If I'm out and about and somebody else provides Gatorade, I can enjoy it. I don't usually buy it for myself. Obviously, sometimes I will. But again, that flexibility is key to not stressing over the little things in life that really probably don't matter. Because yes, Europe is more strict than we are, but it's not like the food diet is actually to blame for our health crisis, right? If we get our calories in check and stop eating ultra palatable, highly processed foods, then we can start to take a closer look at the blue dye in that Gatorade. But until then, it's basically irrelevant because we're eating too much, and that's America's problem, not the food itself. Now, another one of the food guidelines that I chose to break on this shopping trip is my empty calorie beverage rule, right? I broke it because Arnold Palmer is delicious. I love it. It's one of my favorite drinks. And so for me, I caught this caught my eye right as I was leaving. I walked back in to grab, I think, an extra thing of like vegetables, and I passed this and went, oh shoot, I need to grab that. It was $5, debated it for half a second. Each one of these cans is 160 calories. Yes, they're empty calories, but again, the point of this is to enjoy your diet, enjoy your foods, drink and eat the things that you enjoy, and have them work towards your goals. So if I have a day where I have some extra calories, or I really just want an Arnold Palmer, I have it, and I'll take that 160 calorie hit and it'll be fine. So my guideline is to avoid empty calories. But in practice, Arnold Palmer is worth it to me. I have a client right now who drinks regular Dr. Pepper. There's zero sugar Dr. Pepper that I wish he would switch to because he wants dessert at the end of the night and is out of calories. I think that's an easy trade. And for most people, I would highly recommend the 0-calorie option. But especially if your goals are more muscle building, you're on a bulk or even a maintenance phase, it's a little bit easier to throw in some empty calories. Even so, I'm generally against it, but on this shopping trip, I chose to indulge in some Arnold Palmer. If you stayed and continued watching the end, I just want to say thank you so much. I hope this video was super helpful, super applicable for you and your everyday life. This was not every food that I eat. If you want to see more of them, watch some of my old videos where I give better explanations or different explanations over food choices and proteins and carbs and fats and breakdowns and meal plans. But this video is just what I did on my last shopping trip. So it's just very real, very raw. This is what I was thinking when I did these things. Here are some guidelines I follow and the fact that I was willing to break them. I want to show you what a real person who is managing their weight, who lost weight, and is still maintaining healthy goals, what that can look like. So I hope this was super, super helpful. Please subscribe, like this video, and subscribe so that you can see even more of my content as it comes out.